Well, welcome to Caching in the Northwest, and I'm going to just stop that now.
It was
Welcome
like a whole, it was like a whole new show.
to
Go for it.
We're going to start over again. Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. This is the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 in the Great Pacific Northwest. Each week, we will talk about caches and cachers from here and around the globe. So, while you're trolling your frenemies with Nickelback songs, we'll be a caching in the Northwest.
Well, and that means it's time to bring in our charming chimp. Some say she casts pearls before spider monkeys, and others say she finds all the geocaches. All we know is she's called Mrs. Land Monkey.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Now, I can't remember. Have you been on the show before?
Do you see the look?
Yeah.
Yes,
Have
I
you?
have.
Okay.
No.
I'm feeling very awkward at the moment.
I was going
Okay.
for that. Did it work?
Nothing like that awkward silence. There we go. Yeah, and so folks in the chat are already saying hello to you there, Mrs. Land Monkey. So we got a few hellos to you. All right, folks, and tonight we are going to talk about tales from the trails and how not to die when you're geocaching.
Generally recommended to live through your geocaching adventures.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of rules, but one of them is don't die.
I like that one.
Yeah, well, and before we get into that, a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons and who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. And of course, a special thanks to the Land Sharks. They are our corporate Denali level sponsor. Folks, if you want to know more about supporting this show, click that Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website.
That's right. We love glows. And we're going to read one in just a minute. And if you don't know what that is, we're still going to read it in just a minute. But glow is the geocaching log of the week. Whether you wrote the log or read the log, just stumbled across it in the field, we want to hear about it. Great logs simply make geocaching better. So if you find an awesome log, send it via email, via field recording, via voicemail, however you'd like to get it to us. You can email feedback at cachingnw.com. Give us a call, 253-693-TFTC. And if you go to cachingnw.com website, there's a voicemail tool right there for your voice recording pleasure. Send it in. Show us how you glow. Now, for this week's glow, Mrs. Landsharks has got a little junk in the trunk. I mean, this one was submitted by Mrs. Landsharks, and it's junk in the trunk number 7. Misread that. That's GC86HYJ, logged by Dira Duck. The log says, I'm going to claim half a smiley, and here is the story why. The Wednesday caching group seems to regularly lose its male members. Today was one of those days. We brought a few tools of the trade, enough that we were able to actually see the cache, and what a story that was. But I don't want to give too much away, so that's where we get half a point. But alas, we did not bring the correct tool of the trade, so we could not put our hands on the cache. We will return with the proper tool, hopefully when one of our handsome, smart, talented, athletic, and strong members can join us old 60-plus-year-old women. Yeah, that ought to do it. Stay tuned.
Awesome. Well, thank you to Mrs. Landsharks for sending that in. And thanks to Dira Duck for writing that up. We'll make sure both of you guys get access to the Glow Badge. The
Yes.
2019 Glow Badge. So that'll be great. And you may have noticed if you're joining us live here that we're missing one of our hosts. We've replaced Chris with Mrs. Land Monkey.
Upgrade.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a pretty fair trade. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
he's listening, right?
Fair trade? You would trade one for the other?
Good point.
Yeah,
I can say what I like because she can't reach out and slap
You're
me.
definitely out of arm's reach. Yeah. Awesome. Well, you know what? We're going to talk tonight about safety when you're out geocaching, and we're going to talk a little bit about an interesting headline that came out recently, and we're going to dig into that all in a few moments. But we'd like to remind you that if you do have some comments as we're going through the show that you want to throw in there at us, to use the hashtag don't die And our chat lackey will grab your comments and drop them in to the show notes for your hosts here to read and respond to. And if you have something for us to discuss in the after show, use hashtag FATAS, and that'll get dropped into the after show notes for us to talk then. All right. So I'm going to move in here and I'm going to lead off with a story from British Columbia that broke on October 1st, so just a couple of days ago. The headline on this one I felt was kind of a clickbaiter.
Aren't they
The
all?
headline was, sorry, what's that?
Aren't they all? It seems nowadays.
Yeah, pretty much. The headline says, "Worst hiking buddies ever? Rescued woman was left behind by companions."
Hmm.
So right off the top, you're thinking, this is interesting. Now, the good news is this story ended well. So
Good.
there's that. So sometimes we share you guys some scary stories to scare you straight and make sure you're safe out there. This one ended well, which is good. But according to North Shore Rescue, a group of 5 had met on WeChat and then set out on Sunday morning to hike the Coliseum Mountain Trail from Lynn Headwaters. It's a trail that's known to be fairly rigorous, an all-day hike. Theoretically, 1,200 meters of elevation gain. I'm not sure if that's actually accurate, but anyways, the hike takes about 10 hours round trip. That is accurate. And apparently, on the way down from the summit, one of the members of the group of 5, this woman began to grow tired and at some point apparently rolled her ankle.
Hmm.
So the group of them are on their way back from the summit. One of them's got a minor injury, is slowing down. According to North Shore Rescue, she had very poor shoes. She had sparkling running shoes on. So I'm not sure if the sparkling really is relevant, but proper footwear, guys. Anyways, so what happened is the group split up. The 3 faster hikers went ahead while the quote unquote leader stayed behind with the woman. Once they were near Norvan Falls, which is still 6 kilometers out from the trailhead, her companion, the leader, apparently abandoned her and just headed solo for the parking lot. So now this woman's by herself out on the trail, partially injured. So this doesn't really sound like a well thought out approach to things. 3 hours later, growing dark, another hiker was on his way out on the trail, encountered this woman and helped her out. Once they were in cellular phone range, he called 911. North Shore Rescue responded, helped the woman with her foot, stabilized her, got her out on the trail, and apparently found the rest of the crew at the trailhead, and they got a lecture to help them understand the gravity of their situation. Were encouraged strongly not to abandon a team member and leave them alone. And it concludes with McMorty from the North Shore Rescue saying, all hikers should know their abilities, know who they're hiking with. And
That's
most
the tip.
of all, yeah, right. And most of all, know that there's no excuse to not call for help. So I wanted to talk about that article a little bit because I think it outlines a few things that we need to be keeping in mind about how not to die out there.
Yeah.
GeoNavPros has already commented with OMG kids today.
Yeah.
I think that's a good start. We've also got that's always a fear I have, is that I'll be left alone behind my hiking companions, which is why I usually hike alone and carry an inReach. So definitely, Limax made that comment.
Yeah.
Definitely carrying an inReach is a great idea. Hiking alone, Limax, the fear of being left behind by your hiking companion shouldn't be the reason that you hike alone. So maybe you need better friends. I'm just going to throw that
There you
out
go. Yeah. Should never leave your hiking companions alone, unless, of course, you're being chased by a bear and you can outrun them. And then, no, I'm kidding.
there. Yeah, no kidding. So, Brian Lang's thrown up one of my favorite pictures here in the chat. I'll pull that up a little later. What else have we got? We got some more comments. Limex says, "What if I just stay in my car?" Well, that's an option. That will definitely.
But how will you break in your sparkling running shoes?
That's true. That'll be much more difficult. Keats94 also shares that a really curious black bear is recently following mountain bikers on Mount Seymour. No report on whether or not it was Skookum Bear,
Hmm,
uh, local reviewer up here in
that
BC.
is a possibility.
It is a possibility. But thanks for the fun comments, you guys. But back to the story. Um, what do you have any thoughts about that?
What about being left behind?
Yeah.
Or about
Or the group kind of just gradually splitting up because one person was slow.
What surprised me, I think, was which I don't think you can hear me. What surprised me, I think, in that article was the comment that when they did talk to the group of hikers at the trailhead, when they found them, was that they had no plans to phone anybody to say that she was still out there. And I'm thinking that is crazy. I mean, you should have somebody like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine leaving somebody, even if you just met them that day. One person
Yeah.
on the trail, like it blew me away.
It's a strange situation. Yeah. I don't know why the guy who was with her, once they got to Norvan Falls, decided, okay, you'll get out on your own. Like, she's obviously
6
injured.
kilometers is still quite
That's
a
a long
ways to
way.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on one of those North Shore trails for sure. Yeah.
I don't understand that. I mean, if she's already at that point, already rolled her ankle, of course she's going to be slow, but still, that's not cool.
Yeah. Jim?
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I took out of the story immediately, that the good thing that I hear on this podcast regularly, is kudos to North Shore Rescue, because they seem to be a fantastic organization. We always hear great things from them. And yeah, the big tip, as you kind of alluded to earlier, is just know who you're hiking with. Short version: never hike with those people
Yeah.
that left her on the trail. I don't know who they are, but I never want to hike with them.
Yes. Amongst the apps to use to find hikers, don't use WeChat. That's where the bad hikers hang out.
Well,
right?
yeah, apparently that's the one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, so here's a question. Can a hiking group split up safely? And I would suggest yes, they can.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done it with our hiking group, but it's you don't leave any one individual
Especially when they're injured.
Yeah. And if there is a split up in the group, you yeah, GeoNav Pros is making a comment that we're going to talk about in just a moment here for sure. If you do split up, you try and split up so that there's no single individual left behind, and that there's a plan, right? It's like, okay, we're going to split up. Here's what's going to happen, and so then you can check back in on each other later. So yeah, I mean, our hiking group has split up. I mean, even last weekend, we had a subset of our group that was going to push ahead to a further summit, and half the group, basically part of the group, said, yeah, we're just not going to be able to do it. So we said, okay, like, do this, you guys do that, we'll do this. Okay, we all agreed on what the plan was. We kept in communication when we could, and we were able to everybody got out safely, no injuries. I didn't even pull a hamstring. So yeah, and GeoNav Pros in the chat saying we didn't feel safe letting strangers go past us when we were on our way out. And definitely we were hiking out. It wasn't dusk, but it wasn't too long from dusk. And we knew there's people coming up the trail, and we knew where they were heading, and we knew there's no way they were going to make it there and back out. And they're coming up the trail. Like that one group, they didn't even have a pack, I don't think.
I was going to say, let me show shorts and t-shirts and no pack, probably flip-flops, sparkly running shoes.
I don't know if the one fellow was the father of, what was it, two teenagers along with them. And he said, do you have a flashlight? And he says, I've got my phone. I'm thinking, that's it between three of you? Like,
and my response was, oh, then you don't have a flashlight. Yeah.
Yeah. So no.
Yeah. But yeah, and I got to say kudos to GeoNavPros because he was awesome, making sure that he checked with everybody who was going past, saying, "Hey, dusk is at this time. Um, you know where you're going. Are you going to get out? And does somebody know where you are?" So doing the check with everybody who passed us. So
Well, in that particular trail, I mean, for a good part of it was very
sketchy.
a lot of tree roots. So it wasn't just a simple walk. You really had to watch your steps so that you didn't slip, trip, and as soon as it's dusk, you're not going to see a lot of the stuff on the ground. So
Yeah. Keats 94 sums it up perfectly, I think, here. It says, the proximity of a city full of Instagrammers foaming at the mouth to go on a BuzzFeed recommended hike, which doesn't always recommend the right gear for said hike, can be a factor in backcountry ignorance. I think it's an
Mhm.
understatement.
Yeah.
And Keats 94, you freaking nailed it, dude. That's exactly it. And that's what was passing us on the trail, was a bunch of folks who wanted that sunset Instagram photo from the summit, which I imagine would be beautiful, but they weren't
Sure.
equipped for it. So yeah, there's only so much you can do. You can advise people, you can try and stop them on the trail and say, I think there was one couple that actually turned around, a mother-son couple
Yeah.
that actually said, yeah, you know what, this is a bad idea. We're going to turn around.
Okay.
Yeah.
The mother said,
The mother said, yeah.
Yeah.
The son said, yes, mom.
Yeah. And that's what he said in that tone.
Exactly. Yeah. We've also got Limax saying, I remember the rule with Boy Scouts was the buddy system where you had a minimum of 3. So you had one that can stay with the injured party and one to go
Mhm.
for help. That's, yeah, absolutely spot on. And, when I was first reading through this story, I thought that's what actually was happening. And then I realized, no, that's not what was happening.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. So that story is a poor example for sure of hiking in a group and what not. It's a good example of what not to do. I'm still puzzled why the companion abandoned her at the 6 kilometer from the trailhead mark.
I cannot come up with any reasonable story, explanation, or excuse or reason to do that. I just,
No.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. I'm speechless with
Yeah.
that. So
I feel the same way. It just blows me away.
Yeah. And what have we got here? Oh, Bri Lang says, yeah, another good piece of advice. Sunset's getting earlier every day.
mhm.
This Saturday sunset in our area in BC, Lower Mainland, well, Pacific Northwest pretty much, is going to be around 6:40 p.m. So yeah, right. Like and if that's when sunset is, it gets dark in the Northwest trees and in the
Yeah.
forest anywhere in the
Yeah.
world.
I was going to
Anywhere in the
say,
world in the forest.
yeah,
Gets darker earlier than sunset.
don't plan on that 6:40 time to start your hike out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's going to get dark a lot earlier than that.
absolutely.
Be prepared out there. Take your essentials. We've talked about the essentials a lot here.
Yeah.
And
Actually, here, I'm gonna
using sparkling running shoes and a
Yeah.
phone for a flashlight,
Yeah.
not on the list. Just saying.
Exactly. Yeah, go for it, buddy.
One of those things that we have to also talked about is trip planning. I think you mentioned that in your tweet about tonight. And I have recently learned 70% of the Canadian downloads of the Adventure Smart Trip Plan app, which are this is an awesome trip planning app, are in BC alone. So, yay, congrats to BC. Not all of them are ill-prepared Instagrammers going out for a BuzzFeed recommended
No,
hike
but a
on
lot of them
WeChat.
are.
A lot of them are, yeah. But a lot of BC folks have downloaded the app. Now, I hope they're actually using the app as well as just, hey, look, I got it on my phone. Great. Do you know how to use it? Check it out and do it. And I'm sensing a BC gauntlet drop here to the rest of the Canadian provinces. Step up your game. Leave a trip plan. Get out there and hike. Enjoy the outdoors. That's all across Canada and US. Some of it not so much, but some of it. But leave a trip plan when you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you're gonna get tired of hearing us say that, and we're gonna keep saying it until everybody does it. But yeah, and that trip plan app is great. Unfortunately, only for Canada. I don't think there's something exactly similar in the US yet.
Perhaps not, but at the minimum, tell somebody where you're going and when you expect to be back and all those kind of things.
Yeah, you don't need to use the app, but it makes it easier for sure. And yeah, we've got a couple more bits in the chat here. I'm going to share. Geo and Half Pros. It was the "I can do it" attitudes, and it's absolutely what it was with the folks who were coming up the trail that we were trying to
Yeah.
do a common sense check with.
But I'm going to just guess that there was probably one member of each group that was the gung-ho, I can do it person more strongly than the rest.
There was some groups like that. The one group that we were talking about for sure, that the whole flashlight conversation happened. He was the guy was definitely yeah, we'll be fine. We can do this. We got this. And the other two and the younger ones in the party were kind of looking at him and going, oh, I
Yeah,
don't know.
so that's
I
about what I
don't
expect.
know."
Yeah.
So hopefully they all got out safe. I didn't see any North Shore Rescue call outs for that trail. So,
No.
good, but
Yeah.
it doesn't take much. And I like this one here as well. I remember it gets darker sooner in canyons. Absolutely. So definitely something else to be keeping in mind if you're going to be hiking in some of the California, Nevada, Utah areas where they've got the big canyons, and it'll get dark fast there as well. And oh, I jumped ahead. I got the wrong one. There we go. So we had Limax say trip plan for GeoWoodstock. Yeah, you know what? If you're planning to drive to GeoWoodstock, it doesn't hurt to have a trip plan. When we do our big road trips, we put together a trip plan. I put together a big trip plan, and I email it out to usually your two sisters and our daughter, sometimes our son. As I always say, send it to somebody who cares. And
Enough said.
yeah, and we'll have we'll be in this city by this date, this city by this date, and here's the hotels we're planning or campgrounds we're planning on staying at.
Yeah.
So that if something goes sideways, yeah, we'll have some sort of
They'll know where we last
where we
waited.
last were. Yeah, exactly. All right. But before we get into the next one, I gotta share this comment here from Genies.
Genies, yeah.
Hi, Mrs. Land Monkey. Even if it's not the Echo Lab Cache.
Hello. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Little flashback to Texas there.
It was wait a minute. I know that voice. You look familiar. And I'm looking at him going, you don't. But he got it. Yeah. Back on.
Absolutely. So yeah,
as a podcast co-host, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, great to meet you. Who are you?
You're that guy with Chris. Yeah.
He's got a good memory.
Yes. Yeah, Jerry has a great memory. That's for sure. Better than ours.
Oh, I just mean the other way. I have people come up talking to me as if they know me because they see me all the time on here, but I don't know who they are.
Yes, that's what? Absolutely true. That is also
we do love to meet our listeners, but please come up and introduce yourself.
It's an occupational hazard.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Oh, look at this. I love it. Okay. So I keep clicking and then something new pops up.
Stop clicking.
No, because I like this one. So Limax says, I know it's a FATAS, but he says he's working on his plans for next summer. He'll be leaving itineraries both with loved ones at home as well as friends in the Northwest.
Good plan.
You go.
Excellent.
Way to go, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And there's lots more FATAS popping up. So we'll leave that for FATAS at the end of the show.
Right.
So moving along, one of the other things that we wanted to talk to you guys about tonight is the season change. We very recently have switched into fall.
Yes,
although
we
it didn't
did.
really feel like we had summer in the Northwest this year.
Well, last Thursday was winter, according to Chris. So now it's fall.
There you go. Pretty much. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's funny. So I think there's two things we want to just remind you guys, our awesome listeners, about, considering that it is now fall. The first one is to examine your standard carry, what's in your caching go bag, your pack, your vest, whatever, and make sure that it's ready for a cooler, wetter season. It's time to just go through your gear, check it out. It's also time to go through your first aid kit. Make sure that everything is in good condition. If you need to replace um, any fluids or pills or whatever, now is the time to do it.
Yeah, a lot of those first aid kits have expiration dates written on the package or the contents.
Yeah. So, Jim, what are some things that we need to be thinking about as we're getting ready to go out in the cooler, wetter season?
Well, it is fall, so that means it's time for lederhosen and no, that's
And
my
beer.
weekend.
Yes, it is. All right.
I'll warm you up.
Proper layers. Yes. Come Schuplattler. We get quite warm Schuplattler. But proper layers. It does get cool. I mean, it's cool to wear lederhosen too, but that's a different kind of cool. You come out in your dirndl and your lederhosen.
Yeah.
Layers are your friend when it comes to hiking on the trails, because you get up. Even today at work, it was out and it was a beautiful sunny morning, and we were working outside in t-shirts, and before too long, the clouds had come in and the wind kicked up a little bit, and it was a little chilly by lunchtime, and we were in jackets. And that's just in the city working, around there. So when you get the moisture and the climate of a mountainous hiking trail, it can change very rapidly, and you can't always see what's coming on the horizon through the trees and whatnot. So bring layers.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not just for the Northwest. That's pretty much anywhere where you're having a seasonal change. You need to be aware of
Yeah.
that. And fall is also the time that you really need to keep in mind the expression cotton kills. In
Yeah.
the summertime, you can get away with wearing cotton when you're out hiking because, it's generally the summer. You're generally not going to get that damp and cold in the evenings.
Yeah. I
But
tend to wear the Q-tips in the summer. They're
there you
cotton.
go. Just have them sticking out of your ears. Yeah.
I won't tell you where I wear them.
Amongst other orifices. Okay, got it. But be rain ready. So if you're
Yeah.
gonna layer up, make sure you do it without cotton. Do not
That's
have cotton as a layer, because once cotton gets wet, it just gets cold. It sucks the heat from your body, and you're just in trouble. So be rain ready. So that means don't use cotton as a layer. It also means make sure you've got some sort of rain jacket, or if you're Mrs. Monkey, an umbrella.
I've done that.
You've done a number of hikes with an
I've been
umbrella.
laughed at, but I don't care. I stay dry.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and Keats adds a very subtle comment.
Yeah.
Never wear cotton.
That's right.
So yeah, absolutely. So Keats, you're right. One should probably never, but in the summertime, I tend to for my lower layers, and you can get away with it. But definitely once the season switches, no, cotton's out. Another comment, and we already told the story about the phone light, but flashlights. This is the time of year you gotta have one or more. I usually carry a flashlight and a headlamp, both charged and with spare batteries. Like we already discussed, gets dark
Yeah.
fast. Yeah,
Yeah, the old saying goes, 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
I like
I
that.
would agree with that,
Yeah.
because we have had the odd time, we step out of the car and walk away with the one flashlight, the other one's in the car, even
Yeah.
if you're just making a trip to,
Yeah.
well, anyways, but, and then you're halfway there and the light goes out. And
Yeah.
it's, ugh,
Yeah.
okay,
I
where's
mean, a
the
lot
other
of people use that philosophy for knives, for hats, for all kinds of different things, but flashlights especially, because
stuff? It's very important.
Yeah. Hey, I am good to see you in the chat there. And he also adds, and perhaps a good hat. Absolutely.
Yes.
Head
Yes.
protection is important, not just from the sun, but
Be
from
cautious
all
with
the
those good
elements.
hats when it's windy.
Yes.
Just saying.
Keeping the heat in.
There you go. Another suggestion from Keats. Bring some of those self-warming glove packs. Absolutely. I always have a couple of those in my vest this time of year, because you never know. Can be they're very lightweight. They don't take much space at all. And that little bit of heat can go a long ways. So that's great advice. One of the other things that I want to share, it's super important, and people can tend to forget about it because it's not as hot out, is still bring the same amount of water on your hike.
Yeah.
That's The recommended is 1 liter or 32 ounces for every 2 hours of hiking you're going to be doing. Just because
So
it's
I can get
cooler.
away with about 4 ounces or so.
But yeah, just because it's cooler doesn't mean your body isn't going to need as much water. So people actually dehydrate a lot in the fall and spring seasons. Um, what's our number 2 thing we wanted to share with folks, Jim?
Well, you talked about it being the new season and the new being fall and those kind of things. And there's lots of great activities that happen in the fall, like Oktoberfests and later hosting a beer. But another great activity that people do enjoy and there's a great great places to do it is hunting. But what's not so great about hunting is when you become the hunted. So don't go out there in your suede jacket with the antlers on the hood. That would be a bad thing to wear. Instead, you should probably find something really bright, something, maybe as hideous and ugly as the uniforms the Seahawks wore tonight. Just saying.
Do
Those
they have an
things,
orange one that they wear?
no, it's this bright green, yellow, that light yellow green that looks great as the accent pinstripe on the dark blue jerseys. They have uniforms that are all that color.
Hmm.
I
Well,
think maybe the strategy is to blind the opponent. I'm not sure. They are not attractive, but they would be fantastic on the hiking trail.
there you go. Nice bright fluorescent color.
Yeah, yeah. You're not going to be stealthy out there, sneaking down trails, come up and be first to find out there. It's better to let somebody else get that first to find and then getting shot by a hunter because you were sneaking through the blackberry bushes when there was a trail that you could drive right up to the cache. No, wait, that was another story.
So don't geocache in a Halloween costume.
Yeah, yeah. And, I'm not a hunter, so I can't speak from great experience and knowledge on the hunting area, but pretty sure from what I've known and people I do know that go hunting, there are specific places that are set aside for hunting. I mean, hunting uh, zones, if you will, hunting regions. I know that state parks and of course, you also have to keep in mind that not everybody out there with a gun is going to heed the boundaries and legal hunting zones. But as a general rule, there are areas that you're going to expect a lot more hunting activity than not. So they have a right to be out there and hunt. It's a great activity. I am not a hunter, but I do like venison. So there's that.
Yes, I appreciate the benefits of other people's hunting as well.
Yes,
Yes.
very much.
But yeah, I think those are all really great points. One of the key ones, and the easiest one to do there is to just change up your gear. I tend to like to wear some darker colors or muted colors in the summertime, but definitely in the fall, I've got a bright red jacket that I'm wearing, and most of my layers are pretty bright colored um, by design because I like to be visible.
I think they're all red.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to. I suppose you could confuse somebody dressed all in red with a deer, but
I
that's kind of messed
suppose.
up. So,
Don't
yeah,
go caching in Pamplona. Is that running the
yeah,
bulls there?
exactly,
Yeah,
Pamplona. And if you do, run faster than everybody else, or at
that's
least
it.
run
Yeah.
faster than a few people. Yeah. Um, Keats 94 shares that when he was last in Nova Scotia, some local cachers told him to wear orange in the woods if you prefer to not get crossbowed, as most people do. I don't think a lot
Yeah.
of people
I don't know that I've ever actually, put it in those words, but I can't think of a day that I woke up and thought, gee, I'd like to get crossbowed today.
Yeah.
So by default, I prefer not to get crossbowed.
Yeah. And I like this one from Iham. His grandmother always threatened to paint cow on the sides of the cattle during deer season. apparently, Iham's grandmother has had some instances of hunters mistaking cow for deer. So, not sure how you screw that up, but I would imagine painting cow on the side should help. As long as you do it in that fluorescent green color from the
There you
Seahawks.
go. Yeah. Yeah. As long as the hunters are literate.
Oh, too funny.
And most are. But there's that one.
It's always one or two. Yeah.
There's always one. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, most importantly, we want to hear from you guys about your great geocaching adventures that you're having this fall. So be careful out there, have fun. We've had a lot of fun with the feedback you guys have had throughout the show. Looking forward to getting into the after show shortly. I think we'll just about be ready to jump into there. Was there anything else in the chat?
I'm scrolling, looking.
I see we had. I'm just trying to see where.
I know Limax mentioned
Yeah.
he was caught in the dark on a hike coming back to his car in
Oh,
Massachusetts. He had a headlamp on, which is great. He says, I wore it, but it attracted a lot of bugs. And that is one downside that I have found with headlamps. But at least you can see the trail to get back to your car.
there you go. So
You can
thank
always take the headlamp off and carry it like a flashlight.
You can.
Yeah.
But they are super handy just to have them up there, and it marks, it shows you the trail, and they're great for night caches. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there you go. And it's night cache season too. I forgot about that. We've done most of the ones in the area.
Oh, yeah. We're heading into the later the year gets, the better the night caching gets.
Yeah. I miss night caching.
This is actually a really good time of year for it because it is getting dark a little earlier and it's not as cold out as if you want to go night caching in February or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for listening, for tuning in and listening and joining us live. You guys are awesome. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest. We've got some great upcoming shows. We're going to have an Earth Cache special on leading into International Earth Cache Weekend. So, of course, I'm looking forward to that.
As always.
As always, I love Earth caching.
He'll be in Thanksgiving. He'll be giving thanks
I
for
will.
Earth Cache Weekend.
I do every year.
Yeah.
Especially now that it's a weekend and not just Thanksgiving Sunday. So thank you, Chris Ronan and our friends at HQ for giving us the extra day. Well, we also want to take a moment to, of course, thank our sponsor, our corporate Denali level sponsors, Landsharks. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online or go in person and visit their store in Victoria, British Columbia. They're open 6 days a week except holidays, and they ship online orders daily. Daily. So we also, of course, want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters. Why don't I throw the microphone over to you there, Jim?
That would be Landsharks, JP Geo Designs, Limax, Team Squirrel, and worldcaching.com. If you would like to know more about supporting this show, head over to the cachingnw.com website and click the Patreon link. Go ahead. We'll wait.
All right,
No, we won't. But
can you read those from where you're sitting?
What, their names?
Yeah, the names. So everyone that says CNW, can you read that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
As long
So
as
when
you
it says
scroll up.
so yeah, I will. So you're CNW, okay? You're Chris
Okay.
of the Northwest.
you're honorary.
Okay.
Chris got upgraded.
Yeah,
Okay.
No kidding, eh?
I can't
Serious
sound like
upgrade.
him though.
So
All right.
those people that have clicked that Patreon link are our patrons. And we would like to thank Broncos Fan for Life,
Sprouter,
Camp Clan,
Tick Magnet,
Kev MacD,
Subway Mark,
Dora Moore,
Dune Buddy,
Kid Vegas 19,
GeoNav Pros,
Wino Seattle,
Ackerdoc,
Billy Robson,
Niece. Oh,
Genius.
Genies. Darn it.
So close.
So close.
we blame Chris,
Antaeus.
Keats 94,
You're up.
Trexer Zero,
MC3 Cats.
Kettle Barb.
Mineri.
That's M Nerve.
Oh, it's not a Y. Sorry, I can't read. Minerve.
There you
M
go.
Nerve. Yep, there you go.
Oh, M Nerve.
Wet Coaster and Greenwords.
Segehove.
Alirobrook.
Good.
Keepers of the Cash Flow.
Highlands Guy.
The Geo Travelers.
Boomer 365.
GSM times 2.
Kitty Quest.
T Sayer.
Seebeck Tribe.
CRS 98.
And B Pendragon.
Awesome Sauce. You did well.
I apologize for everybody's names I just brutalized. You
I-
guys say them every week.
I know.
don't.
I think you
You-
did a really, really good job
For the
considering you were
first
just
time reading
fooling
those
Zach
out loud,
Bill.
yeah, you did fantastic, at least as well as Chris of the Northwest did. And
Yeah.
since he's not verbally here to reprimand me, I can say that. I may pay for it later, but I'll say it now. Oh, it's been a great week. And until next week, where can people find you, Land Monkey?
Well, you can find the Land Monkeys here, landmonkey.blogspot.ca. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope at LandMonkeyGC. And, on YouTube, we've got new episodes keep coming out. We're having fun exploring through the Western Caribbean. So join us on that. That's LANMONKEY, Land Monkey on YouTube. She loves it when I do that.
Oh, I was waiting for the reaction. That was great.
Wits End, my friend, where will folks find you?
Hopefully here every Thursday night. Otherwise, head over to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, one of those social media platforms. I'm Wits End on all those. And of course, there's, geocaching.com has a message center. Shoot me a message there.
Awesome sauce. All right. Well, and you can always head over to cachingnw.com/hosts, read our bios, and find all the super secret information that we're trying to hide from you. And then you'll be part of the club.
Ooh.
All right. And, we also want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Remember that you can be part of this show by calling 253-693-TFTC and leaving us a comment, asking us a question, or sending us a tweet about a rock band any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Also, your support helps to keep quality shows coming. So if you like this show, please click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and more. Give us a thumbs up or a review. The show is produced by Chris Umfanar, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. Show is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2019 by Chris Umfanar. And now we're going to ask you to stay tuned for...
Oh, we don't have his recording, do we?
No.
The after show.
There you go. You guys
Did
got
that
it
work?
special. You got it live.
Yeah.
Recorded this week. All right. So we got some great stuff here in the after show to chat about. For those of you who've hung out with us, thank you for staying with us to the after show. I noticed that we actually have Wet Coaster joining us from Helsinki, Finland this morning.
Wow.
Yes, or this morning his time. So enjoy Helsinki. Hope you find some cool geocaches and have a marvelous time doing whatever you're doing in Helsinki.
Well, he says it's 2 degrees C and overcast in the future. There's tomorrow. So
Well, that sounds like our future as well.
hopefully not tomorrow's future, though.
No. I think it'll be a little different here in the Northwest for sure. So we have from Greenwords, #Fatas, does anyone know of a challenge cache for a 60-day streak? Tomorrow is her 60th day of her geocaching streak. And I think there was some feedback back in the chat. I think it's way back there. But I think some of the folks had given her some suggestions and recommendations. So very cool. Very cool. Here's a good #Fatas from Highlands Guy. Geocaching, game or hobby?
Uh-huh.
And I would challenge to throw a third in there, sport. But
I suppose.
but let's stick with what Highlands Guy threw out: game or hobby. So Mrs. Monkey, game or hobby?
Oh, can I say both?
You could say lifestyle, and that would be pretty accurate for
yeah.
us.
Okay.
Jim, what about you, bud?
Yeah, I think either or applies. It's whatever you want it to be. That may be a cop out, but that's how I've always felt. You get out. It's like you get out of it what you put into it.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah. I was going to say Keats 94 says lifestyle. Go ahead.
I would lean in and say game for dieharders, and hobby for those who are the occasional, like to do it, but I would say aren't so much into like the challenges. So sometimes those challenges, come on, get out there and away you go. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
those challenges are really
100%
fun to
agree.
put
Oh,
on
I've
the
got
ignore
3
list.
done. So, yeah,
Very cool.
that's my opinion anyways.
No, that's good. That's good. So yeah, I was popping up some of the other messages there. The entire camp clan believes lifestyle, possibly obsession. That's
Obsession,
awesome.
yes.
It's nice to have the entire camp clan watching. I hope you guys
Yeah.
are doing well. Um, on the mend, on the mend. Um,
Yeah, he's been back to work a bit.
awesome. That's good news. That's really good news.
Hey,
Uh,
you mentioned real quick sharing a photo earlier that
there you go. You got
yeah.
that one. So yes, that is actually my Facebook profile photo. Yeah, Brian Lang took that one.
in case you can't read it out there.
Yeah.
So
It just
yeah.
seemed like good advice. It's actually I actually really love those. There's 2 decks of cards. They're not. I don't think they're actually playing cards. I'm not sure, but you can buy them at. You probably get them at REI. I know you can get them at Mountain Equipment Co-op, and it's like a deck of cards, and each card has some sort of survival tip, and they're in suits or themes of the survival tips. And the one deck is the "Don't Die Out There" deck. The ones that I had one there in that photo, and there's another one that's called "Don't Freeze Out There," and it's all
Mm,
about winter outdoor survival tips and
And
tricks.
we found that one in a cache.
Yes, somebody was leaving them a card in different caches, which I thought was a great idea.
yeah.
What else have we got here? We got Fatas from Keats 94. He's going to try and tune in from Cape Breton next week. He'll be there. It'll be 1 a.m. when the podcast starts. Yeah, like 4 hours ahead.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is why I was not tuning in when I was in
No.
in the Maritimes. But dude, he says, you know how much I love this show. That's awesome, man. If you do, super kudos to you. We'll make sure you get a shout out. And thank you. Appreciate the sentiments. And we hope you have an awesome trip. So we look forward to hearing about that too. All right.
Yeah, phone in some awesome glows from the trail.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
record them on your phone and send them when you get back to the land of Wi-Fi or something.
Yeah. Some field recordings there, Keats 94. That'd be great. What else do we have?
Limax says, my girlfriend and I visited the Natural History Museum last weekend in Pacific Grove. That's near Monterey, California. We learned about how jade is made.
Well, that is good information to have when you come up here to the Northwest,
Yeah,
because
because Briarlang says you just walk up the Fraser River Valley and pick it up.
we've got a lot of jade. But that's cool. So yeah, that's neat. That sounds like a really good time.
Yeah.
Glad you had fun doing that. All right. Well, I think we're through the Fatasis.
I think so.
All right, you guys. Well, and yeah, Keats 94 said he will record some awesome field recordings. Thank you. That's
Perfect.
fantastic. All right. And you know what? We really appreciate everybody joining us tonight. It has been a lot of fun. Mrs. Monkey, thank you for joining us tonight. Hope you had fun.
Sure.
Yeah. It was great having you.
Thank you.
If you liked the show, thank Mrs. Land Monkey for her contribution. If you didn't like the show, blame Chris of the Northwest for not being here.
Yeah, it's usually his fault.
Pretty much.
I'll have to be trained on names.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I don't think anybody minded too much. It's all good. All right. And, you know, as we always say, guys, as we wrap it up, make sure you get out there, go geocaching, have some fun. And as I always say, cache safely and cache often.